I stopped by the Fly Fishing Museum at Bass Pro, Springfield, Missouri. I knew that there were some flies that Mary Orvis Marbury had tied on display there, and I really have to step up my game now, I think, because the plate on display is actually the plate that I'm tying right now. The trout flies on plate O. This is the Leadwing Coachman. I'm tying it on a number 8 hook with claret thread because that's the color of the head on Mary's fly. I am not using a barb or an eyeless hook. I was actually at the Fly Museum to look at the gut on the front of her hooks to see whether she had tied loops or whether she had tied leaders, and it actually looks like they are cut off leaders. I am working towards a faux gut tying, and maybe sometime I'll get to that. So a gold tag. The body on this Coachman is Peacock herl. I have 2 of those. I'll tie them in up here towards the front of the hook, not right at the front. I'm leave room there for the wing and the hackle. So come back here to where I have my tag tied in and wrap that rather full herl body. Full herl body will kind of help the wings stand up a little bit better too. Leave a good eye length behind the eye of the hook. I didn't get my hook into my vise tight enough. I'm going to adjust that right now. Alright, this is just the realities of fly tying, and I could start over and pretend all of this didn't happen, but why? Right? More for you to laugh at. And now I can't get the vise to clamp properly. No, it's not right yet. Clip out the tips of those herl. I'm going to tie the hackle in first, and I am using a brown hen feather for that. I will grab the tip of the feather with my hackle plier, pull back on the barbs, separating out the tip. Then I'll cut the tip off and leave just a little triangle, and I'll use that little triangle to tie in the hackle, and I am tying it with the shiny side out. I am tying this like today we would tie a soft hackle wet fly, because that's really the way flies were tied and fished in the 1800s. This book having been published in 1892. I just pull back on the fibers as I wrap them to create the hackle. And And then I'll wrap up over that stem, pull back on everything. I always have trouble grabbing the ones on the bottom. There we go. And then I'll start wrapping up the head, wrap back. Again, give me some space for a wing. Snap that stem out, and I can pull the hackle down in a way. I am using gray mallard quill for the wing. It is a Leadwing, and I think that's because of the color of the wings on the fly. So gray quill. So I'm taking those two quill feathers. I'm actually tying them inside out because that feather has a kind of a weird curve to it. But just set those one on each side of the eye of the hook. Measure the length. Pinch them, and then I'm going to do a pinch wrap. Take my thread up, put it between my thumb and finger, and then pull down. And then I may have to help that wing stand up properly. And then clip out all of this front stuff. This is where it's important to make sure I have plenty of room. And I did kind of tie over the eye there, but it's a fairly big eye, so I'm not too worried about it. And wrap the head. I'll go ahead and put a whip finish on that. And get rid of my thread. I think I'm not too far off from Mary's fly. I do use diluted goop for my head cement, so dip a needle in my jar, grab a drop. Drop that on the knot. And then I'm going to run a hackle feather through the eye of the hook just to make sure that it's clean and I can get tippet in there. So the Leadwing Coachman from Mary Orvis Marbury's book, Favorite Flies and Their Histories.